This is not just another video. It is a voice you may not have heard in a long time, and yet it is yours. It is a return, a healing that didn't begin today, but one that can continue today. Sit down in stillness and listen to the voice of the ancient mother. Within you lives the memory of all women before you. Whether you want it or not, you carry more than just your own story. In your body, in your blood, in your DNA, live the echoes of what happened to them. To your mother, your grandmother, to her mother, and all the women before them. They did not live in a safe world. To be a woman meant to stay silent for centuries, to adapt, to endure, to be sold, taken, raped, controlled, humiliated, dismissed, abandoned, to give birth in pain, often alone, to care for others and be the last to eat, to serve love that gave nothing back, to swallow anger, bite the tongue, and quietly fall apart. All of this lives within us. The wounds of the feminine are not just emotional, they are physical, cellular, ancestral. They live in the collective memory of women, a code passed on through generations because it was never truly healed. That's why sometimes you feel weak, even when you are strong. That's why you stay silent when you should speak. Why you settle for less, though you know you deserve more. Why you keep searching for love, though you've never truly felt what real love is. Why you are so hard on yourself. Because somewhere along the way, you were taught that you must be perfect to be loved. But what you took as your own flaw is often just the echo of a pain that didn't begin with you. It's the imprint of ancient powerlessness written beneath your skin before you were even born. It's a story that repeats itself silently in every woman who has been overlooked, silenced, used, or betrayed. And this is why you hold the power to heal it, not only for yourself, but as an offering to the collective soul of womanhood, the one that breathed through all the women before us and will breathe through all those who come after us, not by denying it, but by acknowledging it, naming it, honoring it, by understanding that your tears are not weakness, that your doubts are not failure, that your sorrow may be the voice of all those women who could never speak, and that if you truly hear that voice, you won't be dragged down by it. You will transform it into strength they never had the chance to show. Because when you heal yourself, you heal them too. And this is the true power of a woman, to carry pain, but not to pass it on, to end it, to transform it, to become the first in your lineage who doesn't merely survive, but finally lives. Daughter of the earth, you were wounded, but never broken. Yet the wounding of woman is not only collective. Each of us has felt it, once in our own skin. Daughter of the earth, you were wounded, but never broken. Your feminine energy was never weak. It was always deep, sensitive, soft, and beautifully wild. But the world taught you that being this way was dangerous. Maybe they told you that you were too much, too sensitive, too loud, too quiet, too demanding, too dramatic. So you adapted. You didn't lose yourself. You were forced to hide in order to survive. Just like the ancient girl who was beautiful in her silence, in her inner strength, in her deep connection to nature. Her stillness was a mirror. Her gaze saw deeper than was comfortable, and her intuition was an unspoken threat to those who sought to control. Other women may have betrayed her out of envy, not because she was wrong, but because she reminded them of what they had lost. Men, whose power she refused, may have called her dangerous because she didn't obey, didn't bow, didn't shrink. It was enough that she was herself, and that the world often could not bear. So she was accused of witchcraft, silenced, broken, left at the mercy of judges who knew no compassion. You learn to read the needs of others before you ever learn to recognize your own. You learn to be nice, quiet, not a burden, not in the way. And sometimes you gave your body, your care, your attention, even when something deep inside you whispered that something was wrong. You opened your heart, your body, your soul, even to those who did not see you as a person, but as a mirror for their own unmet needs. The influence of others entered you, into your body, into your soul, without love, without reverence, without respect, without truly seeing you, sensing you, feeling you. They entered you as if you were an empty space for their desires, without listening for the silent yes of your heart, without pausing in sacred awe before who you are. And so, you became the stage for other people's emotions, their needs, their unmet shadows, while your soul whispered, and then only quietly screamed, "This is not me. This is not my truth." You did it out of fear that you would not be loved, out of confusion that taught you to confuse closeness with pain. You allowed others to shape you around their wants, and when they didn't see you, you began to go invisible to yourself. Maybe you forgot the sound of your own voice. Maybe you stopped trusting yourself. Maybe you fell silent, even inside. And sometimes, when you no longer listened to the voice of your soul, it was your body that began to scream. The body speaks when the soul is no longer heard, because emotions that have nowhere to go do not disappear. They stay, pressed under the skin, locked in the chest, held in the pelvis, in the stomach, in the bones. The body begins to speak, not in words, but in pressure, in pain, in mood swings, in exhaustion that doesn't lift, even after long sleep, in extra weight that builds walls, in illnesses that force you to stop. It is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is unspoken rage, years of swallowed words, shame that isn't yours, guilt you accepted, though you never deserved it. When you can't say enough, your body says it for you. When you can't leave, your body slows you down so you won't move forward into what is not safe for you. When you hold back tears, tension appears. The body simply screams what your soul has long been quietly whispering. This is not weakness. This is truth. And truth always finds a way out. Autoimmune diseases affect women far more often than men, and that is no coincidence. According to estimates, 75 to 80% of all patients are women, because it is women who, for centuries, were taught to stay silent, to endure, to suppress, to adapt, to smile when they wanted to scream, to be strong while bleeding on the inside. And so, what had no way out turned inward. The body took over the pain the mind could no longer carry, and it began to attack itself, not because it was broken, but because it had nowhere else to put the pain. You are not broken. You've just been alone for too long, and your body is calling you back home. Yes, sometimes it's better to scream, to smash a plate, to cry with all your voice, to tell someone to fuck off. Because your anger is not wrong. It's not rotten. It's power born from disappointment, from pain, from boundaries crossed too many times. And when you suppress that anger, it doesn't disappear. It simply sinks deeper into your heart, into your pelvis, into your bones. It starts to suffocate you from within. It turns into a quiet poison that seeps into your body, your relationships, your view of yourself. A woman who never screams is often a woman burning on the inside. She has been silent for too long. She's been nice for too long. And now it's time to hear yourself, without filter, without censorship, without apology. Your emotions are not a burden. They are a message. Your tears, your rage, your pain, they are living proof that you are still here. that your soul is not asleep, that you haven't given up on yourself. Better to tell that fake friend to fuck off, and that man who is no good for you too. That's still better than getting cancer. The fact that you learned to hide, suppress, silence yourself was not your weakness. It was an ancient survival strategy. When you were seen, you could be targeted. When you were heard, you could be silenced. When you were different, you could be cast out. So you mastered the art of adapting. You quieted your voice, even when truth was rising in you. You tamed your power, even when it was calling. You hid your beauty, even when it longed to shine. Just as people learned for centuries to overeat whenever abundance came, not knowing when hunger would return. And today, that adaptation has become a burden. You too carried the pattern of self-limiting, a biological and emotional strategy that once helped you survive. And we cannot blame it. We cannot judge what once protected us. We cannot condemn the shield that got us through danger. On the contrary, we can thank it, because it is precisely thanks to those patterns, to those quiet survival strategies, that we are here today, breathing, living, continuing the lineage of women who survived, even when the world tried to silence them. But today, we no longer need that strategy. We no longer have to hide our light in order to survive. Today, we have a different tool: awareness, choice, self-love. And so we can lay down the old armor that protected us for thousands of years with love and with deep respect. We don't need to burn it. We don't need to curse it. We simply hold it close and let it go, like an old sword that once defended us, but now only weighs down our hands. We thank it, and we release it, and we look forward without fear, but with reverence for the strength that brought us here. And yes, it still exists. Even today, some women feel threatened by your light, your beauty, your peace. And instead of remembering who they are beside you, they try to wound you. They gossip, reject, exclude. Even now, there are men whose egos can't bear that you don't offer them your energy. They can't handle your independence, your depth, your ability to say no. And instead of respect, they respond with attack, with belittling, with slander. But this is no longer the Stone Age. Today, they won't silence you with rocks for being different. They won't banish you into the woods to die for not being obedient. Today, you won't die just because one group casts you out of the tribe. Because today, you get to choose your tribe, your community, the people who truly see you, who honor you, who don't only cheer for you when you're small, quiet, and compliant, but especially when you shine. Today, you no longer have to stay where you're being diminished. Today, you can survive without their approval, because the only recognition you truly need is your own. The survival mechanisms that once protected life, to stay silent, to remain, to shrink, to please, are no longer necessary. That inner code that says, "Don't stand out, or you'll die," is an ancient illusion. Back then, it was reality. Today, it's just old programming. And you can lay it down with love. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to prove your worth. If someone doesn't see you, walk away. If someone disrespects you, close the door and move on. Go where you're felt, where they don't want to own you, but to honor you. Because that place does exist, and your light is worth it. Daughter of the earth, we women have carried burdens for centuries that we never chose. We learned to see goodness where there was only darkness, to excuse the actions of those who harmed us, to hope they would change, to love even those who destroyed us, because we had to, because there was no other option. That is not weakness. It is adaptation, an ancient survival mechanism. When a tribe was conquered, women were kept alive only to serve. Their children were killed, their men slaughtered, and the women remained, alone, broken, left at the mercy of the victor. And to survive, they learned to love the conqueror, to search for the human in him, to see even the tiniest flicker of goodness. It was the only thing they could do, to keep breathing. And so, children were born of rape. Millions of children in the history of humanity were not conceived in love, but in violence, in submission, in war, in the loss of freedom. Women weren't allowed to say no, so they learned to say yes, even when their whole bodies screamed in pain. They learned to go numb, to forget, to breathe through the agony. And that survival pattern, loving the man who hurts, was passed on from generation to generation. Today, we call it trauma, Stockholm Syndrome, a trauma bond. But back then, it was the only way to live, to protect oneself, one's children, what remained of one's soul, and you carry it in your blood, in your bones, in your memories, even if they are not yours. But today, daughter, today is a new time. Today, you don't have to love someone who disrespects you. You don't have to interpret insults as signs of affection. You don't have to search for light where there is only shadow. You don't have to accept crumbs. You don't have to excuse the pain. You are no longer imprisoned. You are no longer the conquered prey. You are free. And you can choose a different path. One where you value yourself enough to turn your back on anyone who destroys you. Where your heart leads you not into fear, but into truth. And in doing so, you heal your entire lineage. You free the women who never had that choice. And maybe, just maybe, you're crying right now, not just for yourself, but for your entire feminine lineage. Beloved daughter, what you are feeling right now is the voice of thousands of women. Their tears that were never allowed to fall. Their screams that had to remain inside. Their pain buried deep just so they could keep going. And now, it moves through you. Your tears are not just yours. They are the tears of every woman who stayed silent when she longed to scream. Every woman who had to smile while her heart was bleeding. Every woman who was broken and still stood up again. You are feeling it for them, as if their stories live in your body, in your blood, in your womb. And they do, because we are not just individual women. We are one feminine soul, split into millions of bodies. And when one of us wakes up, she heals the whole line, the whole tribe, the whole ancestry. Your tears are a prayer, a silent prayer of all those who came before you, and a blessing for those who will come after you. So cry. Honor their pain, their courage, their memory, and then rise. Because you are the one who can change it. You are the one who can carry it. You are the one who can transform it. Your pain has meaning. Your sensitivity is a gift. Your heart is medicine. And you are no longer alone. You never were. Intuition is coded into your body. It is not an illusion or invention. It is an evolution-honed sense, one that survived everything meant to break women. It was born from necessity, because women were physically weaker than men, yet still had to protect themselves, their children, their homes. They weren't built for direct combat, yet lived in a world full of threats, violence, sexual dominance, manipulation. And the danger didn't just come from the outside. Within communities, women also faced invisible threats, schemes, envy, exclusion, subtle rejection. And because survival often meant being accepted by the group, a woman learned to always be attuned. Intuition was born as a survival tool in a world where nothing felt safe. She had to notice a shift in mood before the voice even changed tone. She had to sense when something was off, even if everyone said it was fine. She had to feel who to let in and who to keep away. When to stay silent, when to disappear, when to hide her power, when to embrace, when to slow down, when to walk away. These are not just feelings. They are information, biological and spiritual, ancient intelligence, and it lives in you. And not only did it survive, it evolved. It was passed down in silence, in gestures, in how women learned to observe, in how they sensed the world not through logic or evidence, but through a whole body knowing. For generations, this intuition was the key tool for orientation, safety, and care for others. And maybe you silenced it. Maybe you suppressed it because you wanted to be liked, to belong, to be seen as reasonable. Maybe you betrayed it because you trusted others more than yourself, but it never left you. It just waited, quietly. And the more you return to yourself, the louder you hear it. Nothing divine within you has been lost. You simply forgot for a while that you could trust it. But the ancient mother, the consciousness that carries you, now reminds you, you are the one who survived. And now you are ready to live differently. And you, daughter of the earth, you are the bridge between worlds. Your body is a gateway through which new life enters. Whether you've given birth or not, you were born to create. Whether you give birth to children or to ideas, you are the bridge between the invisible and the material, between what is yet to come and what takes form. Your womb, your heart, your hands, they all carry the imprint of creation. You are the soil from which the future grows. When a man leaves, disappears, or is absent, physically or emotionally, the weight falls on you. A weight no one sees. The upbringing, the care, the providing. You carry the responsibility. You hold the structure of the family. And still, today, women receive lower pensions than men, even those who never cared, who left, who paid nothing, who were never present. While women held the home, raised the next generation, the very ones who will pay the taxes that support the pensions of those who abandoned them. They're still given less. He who walked away is now rewarded more. The system that used you gives you less in the end. Not because you gave too little, but because you gave more than anyone could ever see. The woman, this rare being, is often taken for granted. She is the pillar of society. Without her, it would all collapse. Period. No debate. Yes, she could say, I won't raise my children. Why should I? So the state can benefit? So the same system can feed the man who left me? So I can receive less just because I cared? Number. Let them figure it out without me. But she won't, because she knows. If she lets go, it all falls apart. The whole system collapses. Humanity ends. And more than anything, she loves her children. She will always put them first, even if those who used her benefit in the end. She knows no one will reward her. She knows most won't even notice. But still, she is the one who holds the family. She is the one who holds life. And they know it too. They count on it. They count on her to carry it, to handle it, to hold it all together. And yes, she'll do it again. But not because she has to, because that's who she is. The one with the heart, the soul, the essence. Yes, you are raising the very children who will one day sustain the people who turned their backs on you. Your son, your daughter, your grandchildren. They'll one day pay the pension of the one who left you when you needed him most. And you feel it, that deep injustice pressing on your chest. And still, you didn't grow bitter. Still, you kept going. You gave love where others gave nothing. But now is not the time to stay silent. Now is not the time to be nice, quiet, invisible. Your creativity is not secondary. Your care is not to be assumed. Your work, your motherhood, your strength to hold both family and self is the very foundation of society. Without you, the world would not function. Without your silence, your breath, your endurance, the economy would collapse. And so the truth must be spoken. No excuses, no filter, no apology. I will never again live on the margins just because I am a woman. I will never again be punished for loving, for creating, for raising life. I will never again stay silent, because I am the one who holds this world together, and no pension system will ever be able to calculate that. But my soul knows it, and the soul of the world knows it too, and that is enough. What would happen if women stopped doing what they do every single day, automatically, without reward, without recognition? What if women stopped caring, raising, holding families together, tending to aging parents, sick children, cooking, cleaning, healing, listening, supporting, building community, protecting relationships, teaching, working underpaid in care, education, and health? Economies would collapse. According to the International Labor Organization, unpaid care and domestic work, 75% of which is done by women, equals up to 9% of the world's GDP. If it stopped, the cost would be immeasurable. Pension systems would fall apart. Women raise the future taxpayers. Without them, there would be no one to pay into the system. The paradox? These same women often receive 15 to 30% less in pension than men, precisely because they stayed home, because they cared, because they gave. Healthcare systems would stop functioning. Women make up to 70% of the global healthcare and social workforce. And yet, they're paid less than men in comparable roles. Without them, pandemics would kill more. Patients wouldn't receive care. Hospitals would grind to a halt. Families would fall apart. In 85% of post-divorce cases, it is the woman who takes primary care of the children. Men often leave, but women stay. They rebuild the home. They cook. They organize. They soothe. They love. Humanity would die out. Without feminine energy, without creation, birth, nurture, we are done. A woman is not just a biological mother. She is a creator of life in every sense. Without her, yes, new generations would not exist. And what if one day she said no? No to fixing it, no to carrying it, no to answering the phone, no to responding, no to saving, no to lifting a world that never thanked her? The world would stop. And maybe then, just maybe, they'd finally notice who's been holding it all this time. You are a magnificent, radiant, strong, and beautiful being, and the world can only thank you. Thank you, and thank you again for your existence. Thank you, daughter of the earth, for walking with me, for hearing these words. You are powerful. You are brave. You are victorious, not in spite of your journey, but because of it. Now pass this message on to your sisters of the earth. It is time to awaken, to find the deepest self-love each one of us is worthy of, the greatest respect we have always deserved. Never give up. Keep going. And always, always be proud of yourself.